It takes a lot to survive cancer. The right treatment at the right time, a great medical team and patient, and even some luck. But for one La Crosse woman, her battle with cancer was just the beginning.
Same rule as last time, guys.
As kids return from college for the summer break, there are always a few adjustments to make.
I need you guys to pull your weight around the house. So we're going to start a to-do list. And before we do any fun activities outside the home, you will complete the list.
And even a few complaints as everyone finds their routine again.
Stomping.
Stomping, what do you mean?
Those feet on the hardwood floors wake me up in the morning.
Okay.
How are we going to solve that?
No shoes until you get in the garage.
Okay.
For the Binghams of La Crosse, they also have a new home they're still getting used to and a whole new normal after a very long journey that started in October of 2004.
Because I had an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old, and I just couldn't believe it. I mean, I went in for my 40th checkup, and I had breast cancer.
For Darla, this meant having both breasts removed, radiation, and chemotherapy. But by 2009, Darla and her husband Bruce had successfully put it all behind them. Darla was focusing on kids and her work until December of 2013. Darla thought she had a persistent cold and cough, but the news she'd get from her doctor was almost unbelievable.
I was in disbelief, complete disbelief, because I was so active and had no other signs of any reason to believe that I had a heart condition.
An active 48-year-old cancer survivor was now looking at something even more frightening than cancer.
And they called me and they said, Darla, you don't have a cold or pneumonia, you have congestive heart failure. And that's when they told me that my heart was enlarged.
Darla was now facing a whole new battle, her own heart failing from damage caused by the chemotherapy that had saved her life years earlier. Doctors had told her there was a 3% chance that this could happen, and Darla found herself in this very unlucky group. For the next year and a half, Darla would manage her symptoms from her enlarged heart with medicine. But this would be the calm before the storm. In May of 2015, on a vacation with friends in Florida, everything would change.
And walked down to the beach and I said, Bruce, something's not right. I could hardly walk to the beach that morning.
She checked in with her doctor right away, and they discovered her heart was now 3 times its normal size.
And right away when she got the message, they talked about heart transplant. Oh, they can do all kinds of miracle things. And I'm like, I remember hugging her and saying, come on, really, heart transplant?
It was clear that Darla's heart was on borrowed time. To live, Darla was going to need a new heart.
She couldn't walk from her bed to the bathroom, which was less than 10 feet. And then she has a standing shower, so she had I had to be in the shower with her and hold her up to wash her hair.
Darla and Bruce were told right away by the Mayo Clinic transplant team in Rochester that the average weight for a heart is 1.5 years. At just 5 feet tall and 100 pounds, Darla seemed frail, especially compared to other transplant patients, all waiting for a heart.
It's my family. I mean, they all helped me out. And my friends, our employers.
Bruce set up his own workspace in Darla's room so he could keep getting his work done for Quick Trip.
I lived in Rochester with Darla. I stayed at friends' homes and was at the hospital with her nearly every day.
Darla even managed their new home construction from her room, a project that was already underway when Darla got her diagnosis. She wasn't taking her situation lying down.
But right before transplant, she was walking around her wing 2 miles. She was very strong, other than take the heart away, and she was very strong, very healthy.
And as it turns out, Darla's 5-foot, 100-pound frame would end up working in her favor.
We were told right away that her frame would be an advantage in that a larger person couldn't accept a small heart.
So after all those walks and countless games of dominoes to stay busy, it happened. Just 58 days later, the Binghams got the news they were waiting for. On November 5th, 2015, Darla became number 574, the 574th heart transplant at Mayo. Volunteers at the hospital gave her a special send-off before she headed off to the operating room.
It is well with my soul, with my soul.
And as far as the donor, Darla only knows one thing: the person's age. A young person, somewhere between the age of 15 and 20. Darla spent 21 days in the ICU and another 2 months for observation. Earlier this year, Darla was allowed to go back home and hasn't looked back since.
I feel so good. It's been years since I felt this good.
In fact, Darla now has the youngest heart in her family, something that hasn't gone unnoticed by her 19-year-old son, Bryce.
And she's more active than I am now, unfortunately. But she's become a younger person. Like, she's younger than me, it seems like.
And although they continue to play the game they learned in the hospital to stay busy, the complaints are much less serious these days.
Okay, my complaint.
Oh my gosh.
No swearing whatsoever. Okay, how are we going to resolve
And as part
that?
of a road to recovery, Bruce
Sure,
made
how much?
sure Darla got this little reminder about her journey. But because Darla's immune system is still compromised from the transplant, she has to be very careful to take good care of herself. A message she wants to share with all women.
You got to stay active, eat right, get sleep, take care of yourself.
For now, Darla's recovery is always in the forefront of her mind. But there is something else that isn't far away. That donor, someone she'll never meet, but gave her a most precious gift. She's already started writing a letter to the donor's family, so they'll know just how much their loved one changed her life.
I think about your family and the special gift you have given me numerous times throughout the day. It's the first thing I think about when I wake in the morning and the last thing before I fall asleep.
Well, as you can see, Darla is doing great, and she's this year's Go Red for Women survivor. You know, Darla is still working on that letter to the donor's family and would really like to meet them someday, but that decision is always left up to the donor's family.
Yeah, quite a remarkable story. Not only cancer, but this heart issue as well. Yeah.
And she's doing so well physically. It's
She
very
looks
good
like
to see.
it. All right, thanks, Martha.